Geek Insider presents Geeky, Cheeky, and Downright Freaky with Matthew Harris. He's taking a closer look at some of the wonderfully weird, gloriously geeky, and freaky things in our world.
And it helps if I can find the right button to push. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Geeky, Cheeky, and Downright Freaky, brought to you by geekinsider.com. Tonight, I have a special guest, Jackie Sonnenberg. She has written, she's written for multiple Chicago area newspapers, such as the Daily Herald, the Chicago Tribune, and the New Sun. But she's also the author of several books, such with titles like The Little Dog Laughed, which is about a horrible secret in a wealthy vampire home, and the only one that knows this secret is desperate to keep it hidden. It's also been touted as Flowers in the Attic meets vampires. She also has a young adult collection, and I'm going to butcher this, but it's yresruN. I'm going to have to get her to pronounce this thing. It's nursery rhymes backwards, and I don't know how to say it yet. So hopefully she can learn me on that one. But in those books, she reimagines some classic nursery rhymes as horror stories. She's also known for making her original costumes for her original characters. And you can see just a couple right here. That's for the lamb. The lamb was sure to go. This one is just freaking awesome. I forget which one that is. Anyway, then we also have this one. As you can see, she's got some cool characters. And with titles like The Lamb Was Sure to Go and My Soul to Keep, you can bet those are some, characters that are popular at the cons, because Jackie likes to bring a little life to her books. And so without further ado, let's bring Jackie in. Oh, I got to get rid of your picture first, Jackie. There we go.
Hi, Matthew.
Hello, Jackie. Thank you so much.
Can't see it too long. I'll hold it up when necessary. Hello, how are you? Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, you bet. You bet. I'm doing great tonight. Thanks for asking. And thank you for joining us. You and I, we met a couple of weeks ago at CyberCon when we were guests over there. And then we just kind of evolved from there. And I said, well, she's a perfect fit for Geeky, Cheeky, and Freaky because A, being, an author in this genre, and then B, you dressing up as the characters and going to the cons. Let's just start with that one. How did you come up with the idea to transition and utilizing the cons and dressing up to get more people looking at your books? Uh-oh. Jackie? Well, it looks like Jackie froze. Jackie, if you can still hear me, you may want to refresh the page. And then that'll hopefully bring you right back in, and I'll pull you back in. Let me... All right, so we're getting Jackie back on here. And let's just pull up. There she goes. She should be right back, folks. But this was the lamb that the lamb was sure to go. And in this one, a priest gets visions of the Antichrist, but he doesn't see that it is a little girl and her pet lamb. I've seen the cover of this one, and this is, it is a young adult book, folks. The Little Dog Laughed is not for young adults. That is, she told me it's next to erotica, not quite erotica, but next to erotica. And so, but the nursery rhyme books, saying nursery rhyme backwards, I didn't get a chance to ask her yet. That one is for young adults. And then there's My Soul to Keep. And that one is a brainwashing cult with their own paranormal activity and deadly plans. And that one, this must be the vampires. well, we'll give it a couple of minutes here, and hopefully Jackie will make it back. You can find Jackie online on Facebook. Just search at the author Jackie Sonnenberg. Twitter and Instagram, she's at Sonnenbooks, and her website is jackiesonnenberg.com, and that is going to be going across the screen. And hopefully she'll be right back. And then now Meredith is going to kill me if I pull her up and just start asking her questions, because she already told me she was not in the mood now. She's got pizza, and she is in the back room to taking care of business for me, and she's not camera ready, she said. Anyway, next week, if I can get my train of thought going here. Sorry, everybody. Make sure you tune in next week. I am going to be covering another geeky and freaky, and, well, some people have been cheeky with the secrets that they've kept, but we're going to be discussing UFOs, and not only UFOs and the Pentagon releasing the tapes this last week, the tapes we've all seen, 2 years ago, but it's going to be more on the topic of why you should already know without a doubt that we're being visited by entities not of this earth. Hello, Meredith.
I figured I'd pop on and wait with you until Jackie pops in. So yeah, the UFOs. I actually wanted to speak on that a little bit because it was an observation where else and what other period of time could we have this huge announcement saying that's a UFO, it's declassified, and nobody cares.
Right. Yeah. I saw somebody on Twitter that said only in 2020 can it be that this hits the news, and it's not even news.
Yeah, I know. And I think it's like Ancient Aliens. You want to add Jackie, or do you want me to do that?
Okay.
Welcome
All
back,
right.
Miss Jackie.
There she is.
I have no idea what happened. I don't
Well,
know.
you
can see me. Can you see me?
well, you're frozen. I can hear
I'm
you.
frozen?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
It's a little bit laggy.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a little better, I think. I seriously don't know what happened, but hi. Can't keep me away.
Well, great. I'm glad that you made it back, and hopefully the connection will stay, and we can let everybody meet and learn about you. Okay, and while you were gone, I did tell a little bit about your books, but my question was, before you locked up earlier, was how did you decide to bring your characters to life at the con and using the cons to your advantage?
Okay, so that actually started back to when I used to just cosplay characters from fandoms. Like I would do a lot of Nintendo, I would do a lot of Legend of Zelda, that kind of thing. So that was always there. But I think it really...
Uh-oh, Jackie. We're losing you again. Yeah, we don't have audio, Jackie. No, we lost you. Okay, well, this is in this day and age, folks. There's a lot of people that are working from home. There are a lot of different broadcasts that are going on YouTube and Facebook, and so we have been experiencing difficulties on occasion where people are, they just the bandwidth isn't there because everybody's at home. Jackie, try talking now.
Can you see me?
Yep, I can see you and hear you again.
Oh, well, thank God for that. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so actually it started with being a haunted house actor and creating original characters there, which of course led to creating original costuming. And so I just had the idea to put my world together when I was doing book work. It came very easily to do that.
Very cool. And I love the cons. I've been a part of them for, well, I was a part of them back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then started again in the last couple of years. And they're two completely different beasts from the late 90s and early 2000s to the cons compared to today. And in my opinion, they're a lot more fun today. Back then, you know, it was just all about TNA. You had every comic book that had a buxom female as the hero, and they would have some model there, scantily dressed, and it was just, you know, eye candy all day long. There was no real substance to the books. And your books, your characters are, you know, they're not the in-your-face sexuality, they're in-your-face horror on some aspects. But, and I know you told me on, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. You said that this character was your most brilliant character ever because you got to stay at the cons and you didn't have to talk and you just were able to let the book sell itself.
Yeah, pretty much.
What, besides that one being, you know, the favorite because it gave you that outlet, what has been the most well-received character at the cons? We're losing you again, Jackie. Yep, no audio. Okay.
Okay, hi.
There you are. Yep.
Okay, it looks like I need to have very, very short answers. Perhaps yes or no questions from this point on, maybe? I don't know. Where were we? Yeah, you know, there's just something about Mary and the Lamb that are very iconic. People immediately know what it is. They just don't know what's going on there. So I think that's what helps with that. But also the puppet character that you showed earlier. That one is actually from a short story collection that I'm in. It's called Carnival of Fear. So that little bit is my little Batone, Italian for buttons. And he actually has the soul of a criminal inside of him. He's a murderer, so he goes off on a little murder spree. And he actually won a craftsmanship in a costume contest. So he got some promo there. It was the same weekend that anthology was published as well. So it went hand in hand, I think. That weekend went very well.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, that was one of the ones probably that jumped out to me the most was that character. And, you know, I haven't been able to see you at a con. Of course, you said you're in Chicago?
I'm actually in Orlando.
Orlando.
I'm originally from Chicago, yep, but I live in Orlando.
That's right. That's right. It was someone else I met that is in Chicago. I met the same night as you, and as a matter of fact. But let's see. The Meredith had asked from the back room, where do you get the inspiration for your stories?
Those kind of just happen. I mean, there really is no solid answer. It could come at any time you're not expecting, really. But sometimes if I'm looking at a particular theme or story that I want to tell, of course, with the nursery collection, I've got a few plot outlines already just kind of started. So I'm just kind of taking a look at it and figuring out what in the world is going on between the lines and how can I make this work for me. So really, I just kind of let the ideas flow. I really want to see what happens. I come up with a few, then I choose the best one or the one I think is the freakiest.
And that's why you're on the Geeky Freaky and or Geeky Cheeky and Downright Freaky, if I can remember the name of my own film. A question I had is, which do you enjoy writing most, the young adult novels or the adult themed books?
I think this collection is a little bit of both. It's actually geared more towards young adults, I think. There's definitely a market in there for retellings. Adults like those, young adults like those the most. Also, with the theming of the nursery rhymes, it appeals to a younger audience because they're past that, they're old that, so they have an appreciation from something from their childhood that has since become a little bit messed up.
Very cool. Very cool. And is there a follow-up plan for The Little Dog Laugh?
There's no sequel for that one, no. But I'm not quite done with The Lamb Was Sure to Go. I think I ended that one very ambiguously. I like to call that one pre-apocalyptic, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to check them out yet, and I definitely want to. And folks, if you guys want to check that out, you can find her on Amazon, your Kindle, and you just look for Jackie Sonnenberg, and her little thing has been scrolling across the bottom because I forgot to turn it off. But there we go. And Jackie, bear with us just a second with all the delay and stuff real quick there. I need to run a quick ad, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
We'll be back right after this.
Check it out. MobileEdge.com has award-winning products with innovative features and edgy contemporary designs that empower you to look sharp and travel smart with your mobile tech. Your beloved, not to mention expensive gaming gear and mobile tech devices are an extension of you, so give them the protection and style they deserve wherever you go. Find them at MobileEdge.com and protect your tech with Mobile Edge. Bring it on.
And folks, if you go to mobileedge.com and make a purchase, enter in the code Geek25, and you get 25% off your next purchase. And so, Jackie, with the cons being canceled, of course, or delayed, I've spoken with a lot of people, especially like about MegaCon, they're being scheduled for the 1st of June. If it's on, will you be going?
I hope to go, yeah. I mean, every con that's being, rescheduled or pushed back, I think we're all just kind of penciling it in at this point because we don't want to make any plans in the event that it doesn't happen. I've seen a few cons that have been scheduled more than once, so it's really hard to commit to the date. It's really hard for anybody to commit to the date. But if it does happen, then yeah, I definitely would want to go.
Gotcha. And Meredith is the same boat. We have press passes for MegaCon, and she said if it's on, she's going. And so hopefully, we're crossing fingers that another month and a week that we will have more of the world open. And it's just be interesting to see how they do it. Or is it just going to be the free-for-all that they normally are? Or they're going to cut it down to 25% capacity.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of a play-by-play thing. I think no one really knows.
No, they don't. And which, being in the Florida area, which one is your favorite con?
Spooky Empire is the big cheese down here when it comes to horror. I haven't been in Florida very long. I've only been in Florida for about 5 years. And my understanding is that Spooky Empire has been around for a very long time. And it actually started as a small con, and it has gotten so big that they do it twice a year. They do one in the fall, obviously, and they do one in the spring. It used to be called something else. It used to have a different name. It used to be called Mayhem, I think, because it was most of the time it was in May. But I've seen it go, between March and April. But it's actually more than a convention. It's actually a very large community. I've met so many people there in the industry. We're all very well connected, and I've made a lot of good friends there. So it's good networking is what it is, and both in the industry, the horror industry, and as well as friends.
Very cool. And that's one thing that Meredith has done for us is really gotten us in with a lot of people in the Florida area. And I'm hoping to do the same here in Texas and Austin. But, the worldwide pause hit, and so there's been 2 cons that were already canceled, and I'm hoping the one in August is going to be on. But on going back to your books, which one?
I got a copy right here. We can actually see that better now.
Yep.
I'm on my phone. Okay.
There we go.
This is the paperback to my latest one, Little Dog Laughed. So this is the vampire one. This is the one that came out in late February.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one that's not young adult.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I figured the whole collection is. That's the age range that it has been targeted for, and I think it fits very well for it.
And how do you say that title of your books?
Oh, you mean the collection name? Okay, let me kind of turn this around a little bit. Okay, so this particular collection is all based on nursery rhymes. This one is based on Hey Diddle Diddle, and I titled the collection Nursery Rhymes Backwards. So you can see the block letterings there. I had that logo specifically made so that when you hold it up to a mirror, you'll see it says semyhR, Nursery Rhymes Backwards. I thought it would be fun. I really did. I really wanted it to have kind of like a red rum feel, something that just
Right.
sounds a little bit off, something that sounds sinister, but then again, something that people will figure it out right away.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Throw that over there. Meredith asked, do you prefer the bigger cons or the smaller ones?
Okay, so in my experience, I'd rather go to the big cons in character because I have free roam. I have the chance to just see the entire convention, see everything I want to see a lot of people. I get to just wander aimlessly is my favorite thing to do. And of course, I like to wander unsupervised in character and just go and chase people and scare them. I'm sorry, not sorry. That's what I do for the bigger ones. It gives me the chance to see everything. I often get asked, "Oh, do you have a booth for this convention?" And I like to say, "No, I am a walking booth." So I walk around in character and costume. Sometimes I'll have a book with me for photos so people see what it is, and I also hand out flyers too for whatever particular character I'm doing. They'll say a little something on there like you've just seen a ghost, for my soul to keep, and then I'll hand out the flyers with book information. Now, as far as little conventions go, those are the ones I like to vend at because they're smaller. You don't feel like you're missing a whole lot. But then again, smaller conventions need more vendors in order to make it a little bit bigger. So that's when I offer myself as a guest and say, yes, I'll have a booth, I'll have a table, and I do more book signings there. But as smaller cons get bigger because they have more participants, and I think it comes from the guests and the vendors themselves that continue to come to these conventions and build a following.
Yeah, I feel the same way. The bigger cons are great in a sense, but I don't go around in character. But I prefer the smaller cons because it seems that I can get better networking there. I meet people from all over. It was funny when I went to Wizard World Austin, and then 2 weeks ago at CyberCon, or no, excuse me, we had a guest at our virtual con, and he's describing his book, and I'm like, I met this guy in Austin. and so it was great. He was off in Florida at the time.
Oh, cool.
But with your character, and when you said which ones was the most well received and the one that you liked the most, I'm breaking up again. Was there a character that seemed to not be taken too well at the time, that you kind of second guessed that you shouldn't have done it?
No, actually, not really. I mean, you have to know. Sometimes I question which con to do which character. Obviously, Antichrist, Mary and the Lamb, I say for like the horror cons or like the bigger ones would people would like that a little bit better. But I mean, overall, they're well received. I mean, people get it. I'm a person in character, and it's not like I'm mean or malicious towards anyone when I'm trying to be scary. I'm informative as well. They get it. You're in character. I'm just handing out flyers, and for the characters that do talk, yeah, I talk, but in character in the way that's friendly but fun. Like when I chase after them as Batoni the puppet, I have this big scissors and I tend to chase after people and stab them, and they like it.
I can only imagine. We're actually planning on having a horror con, a virtual horror con in October, with the independent. And so, of course, that's something that we'll discuss with you in the future, as well as our upcoming Independence Con, which will be in July. But now, you mentioned that you've got several things that you're working on right now. What is the one project that you really want to get done and get out?
Well, I'm working on a couple manuscripts right now. They're, of course, very rough drafts. But the one thing that is going to be next for me is I'm a part of a dark fairy tales anthology. It has been pushed back a couple times. It is now going to be coming out in July. It is called The Mare Tales. And I wrote a piece based on the Brothers Grimm's Cinderella. Her actual name is Aschenputtel, and it's titled Of Ash and Straw. And in this story, Cinderella does not turn into a beautiful princess. She turns into a nasty scarecrow demon thing.
Okay, that's a definite twist on the tale, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't get, is that the Grimm fairy tales were not the tales that we know from Disney.
No, you read that stuff and you're just going, what were they on, and can I have some? I read the whole thing, and I read the whole thing. It's truly fantastic. It really is.
It
To see
is.
what the real versions were supposed to be.
Yeah, and then when somebody does try to make a version that is uh, truthful to the source, then people don't know how to take it because they're not used to hearing, especially in America, because they're not used to hearing those real stories. And let's see here. Sorry, thought I had another question. When did you initially write the first spin on the nursery rhymes? Which was the first story?
Well, okay, so technically Lamb Was Sure to Go was the first idea I had. I started drafting that one out. I had another novel at the time that was a standalone and it was still in edits, and that one was My Soul to Keep. And that one I incorporated into the whole nursery rhyme collection because I found the connection to the Lord's Prayer. Now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep. That is a very, very haunting poem. And so I thought it would work very well in a paranormal, and I found a way to fit it in. And so that was the one that actually came first, the paranormal, My Soul to Keep. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was something I said all of my childhood, every night before bed. And then as an adult, you start thinking about it, and you're going, if I die, please take my soul.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm definitely going to be picking up. I don't know which one I'm going to pick up first. I have to start taking time to read more, especially in the late evenings instead of being on the computer all the time. And my brain not shutting down until 3 or 4 in the morning when I got to be up at 7. Meredith wants to know, when did you begin writing and figuring out that this is what you wanted to do? And did you have family support to pursue writing?
I always did. I knew I wanted to write very early on, young age. I was always going into my parents' office and stealing their printer paper and writing stories on it. Like entire reams would disappear, and they knew it was me. But they found it amusing. They definitely support it. They love what I do. Even neighbors and cousins were saying, "Oh yeah, Jackie was always writing." So you could say that it chose me. And when something you are good at and you love and you have passion for, it's going to find you early in life. Yeah,
As long as you let
talent starts young. It'll find you soon.
Yeah, I was told growing up that I was a good writer and that I should write, and I did, in school, and I love doing poetry and short stories. But then I got busy trying to make a living and support the family, and I just kept putting it off, and then just got back into writing 3 or 4 years ago, and decided to do it for a living. But I have yet to get the novels out of here and get them on where they belong on paper. But that's all on me. That's being very undisciplined. Meredith wants to know, did you grow up having an imaginary friend? And did they nurture your story card?
No.
No?
Not really. No, not really. No.
Yeah, I never had an imaginary friend. My sister did. And then my granddaughter did, but I never did. Back in the 70s, my dad would have probably had me locked up and committed. With all of the characters that you've created and the new books that are coming out, which con are you looking forward to most returning?
I think I'm looking forward to the Spooky Empire when it comes up. It's been rescheduled to August now. And the reason I'm looking forward to that one is because I'm making the costume for my Mirror Tales piece. So I'm making Miss Aschenputtel monster and putting all the fine, nasty details on her. And I really can't wait to showcase her. She's got a lot of details to her. And I think what's going to be excited about this one is the same reason why I was happy to showcase Mary and the Lamb. Is it's an iconic character. People are immediately going to recognize who she is. They just aren't going to recognize why the way that she is. So that's going to be the interest. That's going to be the draw. And that's when I'll be able to talk about my work and hopefully gain some more readers.
Fantastic. Jackie, stick with us for another minute. I've got to pay a couple bills. And
Cool.
once again, I got to find this moves around every week that I have stuff, and I've got to figure it out. Anyway, we'll be right back.
We'll be back right after this break. Cards, the Universe, and Everything is a trading card collecting battle card game that has a little something from everything. From the Old West to outer space and everything in between, Cards, the Universe, and Everything is great for gamers and collectors of all ages. Download it from your app store, and as you collect hundreds of available cards, there are more weekly, so you can craft up to 10 decks and battle against your friends and other players from around the world. And if you're an educator, check out cardstheuniverseandeverything.com for a special offer for you and your students.
And once again, if you use a special Geek Insider exclusive code, you can use Geek Insider 01 on the Q card game, and you get all kinds of cool stuff, a couple of hundred gems, some coins, some cool cards. And so check that out at cardstheuniverseandeverything.com or in your app store. Jackie, we're about to wrap it up here and call it a night, but is there anything else that you want the listeners to know? I mean, we've been scrolling across where they can get the books. Where else can they, or what else do you want them to know, I guess?
Pretty much just follow me on social media. Well, I have a website, and of course, all my books are available on Amazon, but social media is really where you're going to see the artists update things, everything from, of course, podcast shows to virtual conventions and other interviews, as well as costume progress and updates. I post a little bit there about the things that I'm working on. So if you like to see creativity behind the scenes, that's where to see it.
Fantastic. And I'm definitely going to be following you, Jackie. Like I said, we're going to touch base for the Independence Con, as well as for the October Halloween Con, which I forget what we named that. The Night of the Living Dread, or Night of the Dread. That's what it was. But yes, everybody check out Jackie's book and make sure that you follow her on social media. Jackie, it's been great having you, ma'am. Next time around, especially for Halloween, we're going to have to get you dressed up in one of those costumes and maybe get a couple of interviews going so you ain't just with me. Maybe Meredith will pull you over to Lady Geek or one of our other websites, and so we can get a couple out while you're dressed up.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds terrific. I love that you have different shows, different theme shows. I think that's great. This is
we're just getting a lot of them going and building up the followings. And of course, folks, if you haven't already done so, make sure that you follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and then you can pick up the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. And of course, Jackie, thanks so much again for coming in. I'm sorry that we had the connection issues at the beginning of the night.
I really don't know what happened there. That's something maybe I could look into that later. I had absolutely no idea, but does this work better? You can hear and see me okay here?
Yeah, the only thing that I needed to do was just because it was catching loop feedback where people could hear me talking as I'm talking to you, so they were getting it double time. And so I just needed to start muting you while I'm talking. But other than that, the speed issues probably were not your issue. It was, like I said, the internet has just been crazy lately with so many people at home. But like I said, everybody, you can listen to the rebroadcast on our Apple Podcast, iTunes, or not iTunes. Man, it has been a long day and I can't even get my train of thought going. But we will call it a night. Jackie, don't go anywhere. I will end the show and then we can talk off mic or off show. All right, thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. Y'all have a great weekend. Make sure you tune in next week because, like I said earlier, we're going to be discussing UFOs and why you should already know without a doubt that there are aliens among us. See you next week, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to Geeky, Cheeky, and Downright Freaky with Matthew Harris. Join him every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. This is a Geek Insider production. For advertising opportunities, contact advertising@geekinsider.com. Once again, we want to thank you for tuning in. You can listen on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean. And if you're tuning in on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, because if you don't, you might have to turn in your geek card.